My name is John Kirk. I am the student body president of the 65th session of WSU. I'm a super senior, it's my 5th year, and I'm graduating this year. I honestly can say that I'm a completely different person than I was 5 years ago, and I'm a very different person than I was when I was in high school and middle school. My father died when I was a young kid, when I was in 2nd grade, and then right after my father died, I completely just turned into a completely different person. I didn't want to have any contact with my mother, didn't want to have any contact with anybody, and then it just started spiraling into a just hate everyone type of mentality when I was a child. I just never felt like I belonged anywhere until I got to high school. And when I got to high school, I found music. Music is definitely my love language. It is definitely one of my biggest reasons why I would say I'm here today. Through high school and middle school, I definitely struggled with suicidal thoughts on a regular basis because I didn't feel like I had anyone. Right after high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I had no idea, and for context, I'm 29 years old, so I had no idea what I wanted to do. I found some friends and they were doing some work in Kazakhstan. What it started with in Wichita, helping get rid of the sex trafficking troubles as much as we could. Then it blossomed from Wichita to going overseas to Almaty, Astana, Kazakhstan. The issues that we see on a regular basis that you just read in a tabloid, it became real. And I didn't know how to handle it. And I did not handle it well. I was married, but then, long story short with that, I walked in on her with another man. And so I just threw my hands up in the air and said, you know what, I'm done. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna go back to Kansas. I saw a sign for Wichita State and I just took a leap of faith and I got into school. First semester was rough. First semester was really rough. When I'm at my lows, regardless of what the low might be, the things that intervene to help me continue with that is, one, I use the counseling and testing services here at WSU religiously. I didn't want to at first, but knowing that they're here to help me and they're not here to judge, that was really encouraging after I got over that fear. I got involved in the student government here at WSU, and I'll never forget meeting the vice president and president at that time, and I was going through some medical issues, and they took the time and came up to the hospital, spent their time with me, made me feel like I was not just a number at a university, but like a human being. At that moment, I knew that I wanted to continue doing this kind of path within student government, within student affairs. I look back at my journey and the relationships that I built, I wouldn't have been able to do without WSU. I wouldn't have been able to do without just the constant caring of the SEAL department and all of these individuals at this campus that took their time out of their day to help me. One of the other biggest monumental things that made me feel like I had a family, because I don't feel like I have a family sometimes, was the fact that I found Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. They were the family that I didn't have. They took me in, they took care of me, they always made sure, regardless of whether it be financial, mental health, physical health, anything in general, they always made sure that we're all together, united as one. The same thing with my fiance. I met my fiance here at WSU, and when I first met her, I was like, oh, no, I don't know about that. We don't want to be messed over again. I don't know about that. And we dated for 3-4 years before I asked her to continue a full life with one another, and she said yes. If we could go back and look at my old self, looked like I was always running from something, but at this point, I don't think I'm running from anything anymore. I don't let my issues control me, I control them, and then I power that energy into something positive that I want to do. There's a quote that my old high school history teacher, Mr. Norwood, he was probably one of the best teachers I ever had in high school, and he always was standing there next to me, and he would always tell me, little tweaks take us to higher peaks. And I never really knew what that meant. I always used to look at him like, no. I didn't understand what he was talking about. Looking at it now, I can't fix myself alone, but I can start. And little things, whatever that means, can take you to something larger in your life. It's made on my wall. at my apartment. Every time I leave, every time I come in, I see it right there. Regardless of what bad things happen that day or anything at all, do something small to be able to best yourself later down the road. That sounds a lot easier said than done. I hate it when people look at me and say, it's okay, it's better than you think it is. No, everybody's journey is completely different. Everybody's path is laid differently. So just because you're able to walk yours doesn't mean you can walk mine. Everybody's different. Don't stop and don't give up, because then that path will become quicksand and then you will start to sink. I don't want anyone to give up, and it's never too late. It doesn't matter how far along you are, it doesn't matter anything, because at the end of the day, you have somebody, even when you feel like you don't. I felt like I didn't have anybody around me on a regular basis, but there was always my brother, my best friend, that was always right there dealing with me in my lowest lows of my life. Always there to help pick me up whenever I didn't even want to be picked up, when I just rather laid on the floor and not do anything. Just keep going forward. Always keep going forward. Go to the people that can help you. Go to the resources that are here on campus. And if we're not even on campus anymore, you're graduated and you're out in your career, there are resources for everybody. There's resources for anyone and everyone to be able to continue going forward, because that's the goal. Staying stagnant and stopping or going backwards is not going to the ultimate goal of being the best person that we can all be.